Okay, I am recording now. You can start
All
whenever.
right. Welcome back to the Bailey Boys Show. We got some feedback from the last episode. Today we're talking about what I dubbed the Moroccan migration. So we got some cool stories coming up for you. I'm going to be essentially interviewing Pedro, grilling him, getting all the juicy details. We wanted to start up this episode off with something a little different. We've been looking at like doing some advice segments and everything else. And so today, because it's our third episode, I'm going to do top three beers. What did you decide that you were doing for your top three today?
I'll do top three drinks.
Okay. Now I do want to preface this. My top three beers are beers that I tried in Carbondale, though. I mean, this would be a different list if it was everywhere, but beers I've tried in Carbondale. I'll let you go first with top three drinks, though. Let's see what you got.
All right. Yeah, I basically divided it into the drink and then where to get it.
Very nice, very nice.
And number 3 is the Bloody Mary at the Cellar.
Ooh, good pick.
Yeah.
Pick.
I know.
Got the pickles. And
I would always be craving that Bloody Mary all the time. Be like, can we go to Cellar? Can we go to Cellar? Can we go to Cellar? And it'd be like 2. And we'd get there almost before closing time and we'd like get a Bloody Mary. Or I would. And you guys would be like, dude, that's disgusting.
Yeah, everybody else would get, a normal drink, but you were all about those Bloody Marys.
It's so good. It comes like garnished with a piece of cheese, some olive, like a sausage. It's
very nice. All right.
That's number 3. Number 2 is the Martini or the Gibson at Buckwater.
Buckwater Brewworks making an appearance.
Very nice. Good bartenders.
Yeah. They do have some good stuff. They actually make an appearance on my list too. So sneak peek.
Nice. And then in first place is the Old Fashioned at Havisham's in Alto Pass.
Yeah. Havisham Bourbon Bar goes crazy.
It's a little bit far from Carbondale, but it's definitely worth the drive.
Yeah, for sure. So for those of you listening in Carbondale, Havisham Bourbon Bar, go check it out. It's pretty interesting. Okay, top 3 beers for me. Now I gotta say, the number 3 spot was the one I was struggling with the most because it came down to value versus taste.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I decided to go with the value pick because it's just been the classic for so long. I could not leave Busch Light off the list. So in our number 3 spot, we've got Busch Light. That's the traditional college kid beer. I mean, really cheap. You can get a case for like $20, $21. And it's a lighter beer. Doesn't make you feel insanely bloated like some of those heavier ones do. It's pretty good. I still drink it to this day. Very, very good beer. So if you're a beginning beer drinker and you're in college, that's the way to go.
It's got the heritage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Southern Illinois classic.
Yeah. At number 2, I have the Buckwater Brewworks Niner.
Yes.
Nobody else really liked that beer except for me. Like everybody else was more of a fan of the Vanilla Danilla or like the stouts, and I just wasn't a big fan of those. But the Niner, like I feel like every time I went, I got a Niner. Like I would drink other things too, but I always had a Niner when we were there. Now number 1, I had it once, and I have not been able to find it since. And so if somebody can find this for me, let me know because I'll buy a damn near whole pallet of this shit. But number 1, we tried at the Big Muddy Brewfest, and it is Pumpkin Cream Ale by the O'Fallon Brewing Company.
Ooh.
And that stuff was good. It was so good. I've been able to find their pumpkin ale since then. I have not been able to find their pumpkin cream ale.
Mm-hmm.
It was delicious. It was such a tasty beer. Oh my gosh, I'm salivating thinking about it.
The Big Muddy Brewfest.
Big Muddy Brewfest, October 7th this year. So
yeah, so
Go check it out. You pay like $60 and you get to go into this park where they have breweries have a whole bunch of tents set up, and it's like 4 hours of drinking for well, you mean you paid for the tickets? You're not drinking for free,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's a way for the breweries to get exposure. So you're drinking
Oh yeah.
inside for a while. It's a good
They
time.
they give you a little glass, and then you can
Oh yeah,
get as many repeats as you want.
exactly.
Free
All right,
advertising.
top three lists. I think that went pretty good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really salivating thinking about that. Oh my gosh! All right, it's freaking. I mean, we're recording this at 10 in the morning, and I'm salivating over this beer.
Oh.
Holy cow! All right, transitioning though, we've got the Moroccans, and this is mostly your story. You're going to be doing most of the explaining today because you and Kai had most of the exposure to Moroccans. I mean, I have a few times like I was around them. Like it's not like I was completely oblivious, but like
Mm-hmm.
was not very involved. So.
True. What are the code names again? Corona and Q.
Yeah, we got Q and Corona, uh, and so we're gonna be talking about those two today. So how was the group even introduced to the Moroccans? Was it Kai?
Yeah.
I feel
So
like
it was a mix between Kai and Mehdi.
yeah,
So
because
Mehdi,
many
yeah, Mehdi was an exchange student. I forget what his major was, but I think it was something to do with mechanical engineering, which is why he was in Bailey.
all right,
Um, and he lived with a squeaky chair guy, and we have a
yes,
side story on the squeaky chair guy for sure. Um, and he was from Morocco, and there were two other exchange students from Morocco that year. And Kai met one of them in his chemistry class, I believe.
hmm,
And yeah, codename Q. And then he he brought her around, and she was friends with the other codename Corona. And then it kind of just like kind of just all started hanging out together.
I don't think
It's
you have
good.
to specify each time you say it that is a code name. I think they figured it out at
Yeah,
this point.
you're
But
right, right.
yeah,
I'm just like refraining myself. You know what I mean? It's like I gotta think
yeah,
of
it
these
is
code
hard.
names.
It is hard to use the code names whenever we've used the other terms for so long. But anyway,
Yeah.
uh, yes. So I think I definitely remember Q being around first. Like she was hanging around with Kai first, and then Corona was introduced.
Yep.
But I think I have kind of a rough idea of when that was. But so how long was Kai hanging out with Q before Corona came into the picture?
Decade probably, bro.
No, it wasn't a decade.
I
Come on.
remember we would make fun of him because it was in the very beginning of the semester that they met, and they were in this chemistry class together, right?
Yeah.
And he came back and he's like, "Man, there's this like really cute girl in my class. Like, I gotta go talk to her." And we're like, "Yeah, bro, go for it. Yeah, go crazy." And then like a week would go by, and he'd be like, "Yeah, so I got her snap." And we're like, "Yeah, bro, good stuff. Yeah, there you go." And then a week would pass by, and then he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna like ask her to like go to Lens or something." And then a week went by again, and then he's like, "Yeah, I finally like went to Lens with her once." And we're like, "Dude, it's been like a month. You're just dragging this on. Like, go over there and talk to her for real. You know what I mean?"
I definitely remember making fun of him for that because like they'd been hanging out for a long, long time. It was like most of the semester, and we were making fun of him in like the end of October, early November.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are you doing? Like, come on now, like
Right.
get the
And it was
move.
it was funny because there were some other exchange students before my freshman year. And the girl that Kai was talking with reminded me of one of the exchange students from my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's my boy's girl. I'm going to have to relax here. But,
I didn't. I was concerned about addressing this specific part of the story. I was going to skip over it, but I mean, if you want to go into details, I'll let you.
it's just, we'll just gloss over the details of
Okay, well, We'll
you
gloss over
know.
the details.
And then
Pedro had to chill.
and
He
then
needed to chill out.
we all got drunk at one point at this party we had, like a dorm party, a regular dorm party we had.
Yeah.
And then I was like telling him, I'm like, Kai, bro, basically like the go to see if you strike out, bro, because I want to know if it's gonna work out or not. You know what I mean? So I asked him,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, buddy, why don't you go for it, bro? Come on. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll like talk to her, ha ha ha. And I'm like, dude, I'll get her snap and I'll talk to her, bro, if you don't do it. And it was kind of like a weird situation where,
Yeah.
everyone is like, Pedro, what the hell are you doing, bro? Relax. And I was like, oh, damn, my bad.
Yeah. It was we used to make the joke that you were fiending all the time in those early days, but
Exactly.
we referenced this talk that me and Steven and Kai had about you in a couple episodes ago, and this absolutely happened after that. We're like,
They're like,
we're,
we gotta get Pedro to stop being an absolute maniac.
yeah, it was. I think it was like everybody was chilling. Like it wasn't like an intense talk, but it was just like it was Kai kind of venting and like us expressing our confusion as to like why, why. But
Yeah.
it wasn't that serious, you know. And eventually, I think y'all got it figured out. So it's
Yeah,
not a
that's
big
true.
deal.
That's true.
But,
Yeah, it was like
uh,
a week of like awkwardness, and then it was over.
yeah, shit happens. Like
Yeah, shit happens. Shit happens.
especially in college, like you have to know stuff like that's gonna happen. Like there's no hard feelings. You just keep moving on. But
Yeah. True,
uh,
true.
I think Q was hanging out with our group for a while. And the first time I remember seeing Corona was at Unofficial. Is this true?
Yeah, I remember I had met her before then, but only in passing a couple times. And
Gotcha.
then yeah, we finally hung out for the first time in Unofficial at Trax, I think. It was
Yes,
like
definitely tracks.
yeah.
And I think no, you were definitely like you were tipsy, but I don't think you were drunk. But I remember the walk there because we walked from Bailey, and it was like I kind of felt like the third wheel a little bit
Yeah.
because it was Q and Kai, it was Corona and you were like talking and flirting and doing all that weird
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
and then it was me because I mean I had a girlfriend at the time, so I wasn't trying to like pick up any chicks or anything like that, but I was just going out to go out and like have some fun. And I remember Jacob was in town that weekend, and he had left earlier to go drink at Pinch Penny Pub with some of his older friends.
True.
But I was just like, oh, like I don't know him that well. Like I'll just come drink with you guys. But that walk was difficult for me to say the least because I'm pretty sure Q was already drunk. Kai was already drunk.
Yeah, before they even got to the bar.
Before they even got to the bar. And you were definitely tipsy.
Ah, bleep it out. We'll figure it
Okay,
out.
we'll edit that
I'll
out.
bleep
But
it out.
Corona. Oh God, this is hard. Okay,
Yeah, no, I'm telling you.
Corona was drunk. No, she wasn't drunk. I don't know if she was drinking at all.
No,
But
she didn't. She didn't drink. She didn't drink
she
at
was high
all.
on life and was being difficult regardless.
Yeah, she didn't drink at all. No, I remember that weekend was like complete chaos because what happened was we started off the Friday going to and Jacob was in town, right?
Yeah.
And we started off the Friday by going to we pre-gamed really hard and we went to Levels.
I don't remember going to Levels.
Exactly. Because we never got in. Because we got in the line and the line was so long. And it was me, you, and CJ.
That's the weekend?
It's the weekend. It's the same weekend. And I know it's the same weekend because we pre-gamed and then we got in line and we were like, dude, we need to piss right now. We are gonna piss
Yeah.
our pants. So we go and we walk to the woods and CJ trips on a fence and falls over. And we end up finding a good spot to piss. We take a fat piss and then we're halfway to tracks where Claire is.
Oh yeah.
So let's go there. We go there. It's not bumping at all. Somehow we fast forward to like already bar closing time. And I'm talking to this other girl we will not name by code names. And then I'm like, let's just walk back to the dorms. And I'm going to go pick up my car and pick up her and bring her to the dorms. And then when we're walking to the dorms, I was drunk. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not a good idea for me to drive. And you were drunk too. And you were like, I got it. I'll drive. And for some ungodly reason, you go to your car. You turn on your car, or maybe you didn't turn on your car. And
No,
I
I
don't
did
know
not.
how you did it, but you locked your keys in your car. And we were walking, we were almost to your car, we were going to the parking lot. You run ahead forward. But before all of us get to your car, you somehow lock your keys in your car, and then you run back and you're like, I locked my keys in my car.
Yeah. So I'm beginning to put this all back together again because I did not realize these were the same weekends.
Yep.
Um, but we were in line at levels for sure, yeah. And we weren't going anywhere, weren't getting in. And so I remember me, you, and CJ, because one of our other friends who worked at levels, I think, got a few of our friends in, but
Mhm.
left us dry out there in the line.
Yep.
And so we were like, fuck this, like we're headed out. So we went to take a piss out there by the field.
Mm-hmm.
CJ fell over the fence, but it wasn't tracks immediately, I don't think. Or maybe it was.
Mm.
We did go over 2 tracks, but I don't think we ever went inside.
Yeah, I don't think we got in because they were all just outside, like being chaos.
Yeah. Because I remember, now that you mentioned this, I think Claire had texted me and was like, "Oh yeah, are you going to tracks?" And I was like, "I guess so."
You're like, the levels line is too long. We're going to tracks.
Right. So we walked over there, saw her, talked with her for a minute, and then like, I don't remember if she was going home or if she was going into tracks, but we didn't want to do that. And regardless, that detail is lost. But after that, we were like, okay, the Latin frat is having a party at some point.
Right.
Let's walk over and see what's going on. We walked over to where it was at. Nobody there. We were like, I don't know about this, guys. Let's just go. We were like, we'll go back to the dorms and just throw an after party. And then on the way back to the dorms, you were definitely drunk and you were like going through scenarios in your head and you're like, man, I gotta go get her. Like, come on, like this is my night, you know? And I was like,
yeah,
I don't know about that. But I was also drunk and I was like, you know what? I can just drive. And so me, you, and CJ all were heading towards my car.
Yep.
And you're right, I ran ahead and I unlocked the car because I think that was the car where I didn't have a fob. So I had to like actually key in.
Oh, right, okay.
And so I went ahead to do that. And like, I wasn't going to be the one driving because I was drunk. So I was like, okay, I unlocked the car. I'm just going to put the keys in the cup holder and get in the back seat. So I put the keys in the cup holder, closed the front door, and was trying to get in the back seat, and the door wasn't opening. And I was like, uh-oh. And I tried opening the other door, didn't open. And I went back to y'all and I was like, change of plans. He's locked in the car. And this story has nothing to do with the Moroccans other than it happened the night
Right.
before.
Other than it happened the night before. That's true. But it was funny how we
um,
unlocked it.
yeah. After after I locked the keys in the car, went back to our rooms, grabbed some supplies. I think I grabbed like a wire hanger, and
Yeah.
we went out there and tried the hanger that wasn't working. And so then you were like, okay, I've seen this done before. Take off your shoelaces. And so we took off all four of our shoelaces,
Yep.
tied them together, and broke into my car that way.
It was
Which
awesome.
I have since used that method several times to get into my own vehicle because I'm really bad about locking my keys in my car.
Yeah, we James Bonded the hell out of that night. But
Yeah.
yeah, the only reason that the the Moroccans ever worked out was because we were never able. I was never able to go pick up that girl.
Yeah.
I never went to pick up that girl. So like, if
So
I
if I didn't
went
lock
and
my
picked her
keys in the
up,
car,
it would have been different. But like, we only got the car unlocked after like 2:30 in the morning, and it was like pouring down rain.
yeah, it was actually later than that. I remember like getting done and it was like 4 a.m. It was pouring down rain. Everybody
Right?
else, you had left your door open and everybody else was partying in your room
True.
when we came back. And we were
True.
just like, oh, hey, we've been trying to get my keys out of the car for 2 or 3 hours now.
And we were just like soaked.
Yeah. Pretty good memory though. But yeah, if I don't lock the keys in the car, I mean, things
True.
don't work out with you and Corona for a little while. So,
True. Yeah.
uh,
But then the following day then we were partying. I guess we all pre-gamed, walked the tracks, and we were there. And I don't even know. So you left for a bit, right? For that night, because like I remember the only snippet I remember is me sitting down in the booth.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I was designated as like the group mom for the night,
Yep.
and I had drank a little at the pregame, but like nothing was hitting me. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just take care of everybody. And then like the walk there, I kid you not, I kept like
we'll
bleep it
have
out.
a
God,
we'll have a
dude,
lot of
doing
bleeps.
God.
We're chilling.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of editing to do this episode. All right, another bleep around 22 minutes.
Oh boy.
This is so difficult. All right. Anyway, code names are hard.
Code
I
names
just need to
are-
write them. I need to write them down and put them right here. That way, I'm always looking at them. Anyway, uh, Q and Kai
Hugh and Kai.
were like not falling over, but like stumbling and like doing their best to like run away from the group, and like so then it's just me, you, and Corona, and you guys are over there just flirting away, and I'm just like, God, like
Eddie was there too. You could have flirted with him.
I don't think Mehdi was there. I don't think he was.
Maybe he wasn't there for the walk. He was there for the bar.
He wasn't there for the bar whenever I was there.
Okay.
So he might
maybe
have showed up while I
He
was
got there
gone,
later. Yeah.
but then he left before I got back. And so the story was is that I was like the group mom for the night. I was trying to keep an eye on everybody. I was yelling at Q and Kai for running away, and you guys actually were doing fine. Like you were just hardcore flirting, and I was like, ew, gross.
Yeah.
Uh,
I remember I was trying to like be a flirt or just chat in general, talk about anything and everything, but not really flirting hard because I wasn't sure if she was single or not, right? Because every time
Yeah.
I had seen her with Medi. So I was like, maybe they're a thing, you know? So I was like, treading on, what's the term? Light water or something like that. I don't know.
treading water, well, is the term, but
Treading lightly.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. So
uh,
then when he got there, we were sitting down, and it was Medi, Q, and Kai on one side of the booth, and me and Corona on the other side. So then we were chatting away here quietly, and I ended up asking her. I'm like, "Hey, so like, are you and Medi like a thing? Like, is it like, a thing or like?" And then she's like, "Why do you want to date Medi?" And just burst out laughing, bro. And I was caught off guard. I was like, "Dude, she's funny as hell."
Got jokes.
And then I was like, okay, I see how this is. So then I'm like, okay, now we're ready to play. So then I started flirting like crazy. And I
Yeah.
pulled out my 3 minutes card.
Yes.
My
The
stare
famous
into a
3 minutes.
yeah. If you for those of you listening, if you stare into a person's eyes for 3 minutes or longer, you will fall in love with them, guaranteed. Copyright or your money back.
I I don't condone this. I don't think it's true, but
100%.
Pedro swears by it. So
100% conversion rate, man. I'm telling you, it always
I
works.
I was gone for most of this. In fact, I came back like right before we walked back to the dorms. It was a big L for Zach this weekend because we got to tracks. It wasn't fun. Everybody else was just like, they were trying to pick up girls, trying to flirt, and I was like, man, like, can't even get drinks here. Like, what the fuck, bro? And I was like, all right, fine. I'm gonna go find Jacob. So I texted Jacob, was like, where you at? And he's like, Pinch Penny. So I
Mhm.
walked my happy ass all the way to Pinch Penny Pub.
Which is on the
Got
other
there.
side of town.
Yeah, on the other side of town. Got there, tried to roll me in, failed twice. And I was like, well, this is turning out to be awful. And then I walked back to tracks. And on the way back to tracks, I'm in my I got some old army uniform, BDU style stuff that I was wearing to be like an army guy.
Yeah.
And I was on the way back, but there was these other people walking, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I like your costume." I'm standing by myself, like, "Thanks." Like, just so unenthused with everything.
Yeah.
I get back to tracks, and y'all are flirting even harder. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I think I saw somebody I knew in tracks, and I just latched on. I was like, I'm talking to you now because this is disgusting.
Yeah.
So I talked to them for a while till they left, and then after they left, I'm pretty sure me being the group mom I was like, okay, guys, time to wrap up and go. Like, let's get out of here. But yeah, I was completely gone for most of that experience that y'all had. I know Q and Kai were flirting pretty hard, but I remember you telling me about the 3 minutes thing. And I came in and I saw you and Corona sitting closely, and I was like, okay, things have progressed a little, but
it was funny because Kai met Q like in the beginning of the year, and I only met Corona in unofficial, and we were official before they were.
True, I remember that. Yeah.
His Kai just took so long.
Yeah, he's a slow roller, man. I mean,
slow and steady wins the race, I guess.
Was there anything else that happened while I was gone? Because I obviously was gone for a good 2.5 to 3 hours, because it takes a while to walk that far. So
true. No, I don't think so. I think Simon showed up or something, and we told him to go away.
I'm glad I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Next story. I don't enjoy Simon. Simon likes to get on my nerves. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I remember getting back and it was just like, okay, time to go, guys. And then the walk back is the same story as the walk there, bro. It was like they kept going up, running away, being lovebirds, trying to talk by themselves. I have a feeling that it was probably a good thing they were talking by themselves, because I have a hunch on what they were talking about. But
yeah,
it was just annoying because I'm trying to keep everybody safe. Like, you go in the group.
Yeah.
Safer in the herd, god dang it.
Yeah, we were all 19, right? You were 18 probably still. Or no. Yeah, you were 18 because you were getting rolled in.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I was getting rolled in everywhere because that night I got into tracks because Claire had rolled me in.
right, right, right.
She had just came out of tracks, I think. I was just like, oh, here, rolled it off onto me, and then
Right.
she left, so she wasn't there the rest of the night, but did get me in, so props.
Right. True, true.
But yeah, the walk back was just as horrible,
That's funny.
and then I think we got back to the dorms. I don't think there was an after party this night. Well, if there was, I wasn't a part of it. I just was like, nope, I'm going to bed. And this has been an L.
Yeah, I don't think anything happened after. We all just said goodbye and went to bed because we were so tired from the night before, too. Because we had,
Yeah.
like, that 4 a.m. night of
Yeah.
unlocking the car. But, yeah.
Right. So I have next on the outline, because this is not where the story ends, of course. So what's the progression look like after this night? What
Getting
happens after
closer
that?
to dangerous territory.
Yeah, I mean, I told you I was gonna grill you today, so I
The
mean,
next, well, it was the next weekend we had a dorm party, and then we invited them over,
I have the photo of that.
and that was
Uh,
the yeah.
Probably shouldn't post that on the Instagram though, just to keep people's privacy. So
True, true, true. Where like I
uh,
held her.
yeah, well, I don't
That
know if I
one.
have a photo of that, but I have the photo of like all of us standing there, and we somehow like 78% of the party was wearing maroon, and we
Oh,
thought that
right,
was
right,
dope,
right.
so we took a photo.
That was after. That was after. That was like the first party I had was at was upstairs at the joint rooms.
Oh, okay, that's the party. I thought you were talking about that one. Okay.
Yeah. That party where we lined up and we all wore maroon and it wasn't coordinated at all. That was funny as
Yeah.
hell too.
But you're talking about when we went upstairs. Okay, I think I remember now. And then you were like, a certain song came on. I don't even remember what the song is, but you and Corona started going ham. And then I think you disappeared, but I don't
It
know.
was a
I don't
yeah, it was a yeah, it disappeared, which is what led to the next events. The
Okay, but what do you remember what song that was? Because I remember I did not.
it was a song in Portuguese. It was a
Was
Brazilian
it?
song that she knew. So that we put it on and then we were both singing and no one knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. I remember I was playing Pong with somebody. I think it was one of the friends that was hosting the party. I was up there playing Pong with.
Mhm.
And it's like the first time I've ever been good at Pong. And then next thing I know, Q Kai gone, Corona Pedro gone, and it's just I think it's just
Steven was
Steven.
up there. Steven was up
Yes, it
there.
was just Steven, me, and the guy who was hosting the party,
And the
and
other
like
people was up there. And so my problem was that when I left, I told Steven or I told somebody, like, okay, I'll be right back. Right? I'll be right back.
yeah,
And then what happened was I went to my room, right? And then they were like, this bitch didn't come back yet. It's been like 45 minutes or an hour, or whatever it was, however long it was. And then they found this fucking bucket, bro.
yeah,
They got this bucket. And like my room was like the corner room. And so like, and it was on the first floor. Not the corner room. It was like the center long room, I guess you could say it was.
yeah. It was right by the entrance, and for some reason they
Mhm.
had it to where it had an extra 6 feet of space, and
Between the
it was
yeah,
like right in the middle of the first floor. So like
right.
for some reason the entrance like comes through, and you're just like you're in the middle of first floor.
And it
So
was
there's
the
half
only
the room on the side, but
it's the only dorm that has like a window on the side. Every other dorm has a window in the back, and this
yeah,
one has
yeah,
like half a window on the side. So and it's right next to the front door. So these guys upstairs are like, we're gonna fuck with Pedro. Um, so they went outside. They got this big ass bucket, and they just start banging on the bucket, bro. like as hard as they fucking can. And obviously I wasn't sleeping. And that shit scared the fuck out of me. And I was so mad. And I remember being like, now I'm not mad because that was funny as fuck. But like in the moment, I was like, I gotta act tough and be mad.
Yeah.
So I was like, hold on a second. And I stand up, I throw some pants on, and I just open the door. And they're like, by this time, they got around because it's right next to the entrance. And they're on the door, like, looking in, like, oh, what's going on? Oh. And then I just open the door and I just close the door behind me. And they're like, what's up, buddy? What's up? And I don't even say anything. I just look at the ground and I walk straight to the RA's door. And I just bang as hard as I fucking can on the RA's door. And then they're like,
Yeah.
oh shit. And then they drop the bucket and run, bro. They run. And then
Yeah.
Steven is just like, and he was like, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. And he just ran the fuck away.
Yeah. So I think if I remember right, the two people that ran were the ones that were hosting the party upstairs, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And yeah, Steven was along because he was still partying. I actually want to just clarify. I had nothing to do with this. Nothing. I was a good friend, a good supporter, and I went to bed early like a good little boy. But I got done upstairs, and I was like, it's time to retire. Went and watched probably Netflix in my bed while all this was happening. So, but I do remember the story, and I gotta say, going straight to the RA's office, not the toughest move, but it is probably the most efficient move.
True. Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to be able to talk him down or anything. I'm just going to barge into the RA's door. And like, obviously, he didn't answer because he was probably either drunk, too drunk, or he wasn't even there because he usually wasn't there because he was partying out by the frats.
I think, yeah. So I think he did like to party a lot, but I think I'm not sure. We might have to ask him. Might have to clarify. I might be spitting lies here, but I feel like I remember him saying that he heard the knock, but apparently it was just romance night in Bailey Hall. So yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Good time.
But I don't know if that's true or not. I feel like I heard him say that, but maybe that's a different story. Who knows? But yeah, the I call it the pots and pans debacle because they were making clear efforts to try and fuck some shit up. So and
The pots.
that's not where the Moroccan story ends either. The
God.
Moroccans was like a phase. It was like it's a whole phase of college now because it lasted a whole semester. And if we want to really, really like accurately depict it, it lasts about a semester and a week.
A semester in a week.
Because there was some follow up things that happened at the polar bear celebration. The
Polar bear.
Yeah,
Polar
Delta
bear.
Chi. You remember that?
2020. I wasn't even there, was I?
Yeah, you were at a stupid TED talk, but me and Kai
Yeah, I was
and
at
the
the
rest
TED
of the
talk.
group, me and Kai and the rest of the group went to this party, and Q was there, and this was after Q and Kai had quit talking, and there was a whole can of worms. But that was like the end of it. But before that, like I remember, I mean, it was just a semester where like they were around a whole bunch, and like so my girlfriend at the time like came down one weekend, and like her and Q were getting together really well, and it was, oh my god, it was insane. It was even worse to try and be group mom that night because guess what, I had to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they were always like running off doing their own thing. It's like, no, you can't do that, you're female, it's Carbondale, like there's like stop.
Yeah.
And
English out there, bro.
and so that was an interesting weekend. And I think at the end of that one, like I said, fuck it, I'm not being group mom anymore, and I just got white girl wasted. And we came back to Bailey and we were like, oh, we're gonna do an after party. But for some reason, I think I don't know, it could be for the same reason that you left the last party we were talking about, but you didn't want to throw an after party in your room. So I was like, oh, we can throw one in my room, but my room is like a standard dorm room. It's pretty tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got everybody in there, and I just realized I do not have the seating for this. And then I think Kai ended up being group mom. He started pulling everybody out of there and like getting people where they need to be. But the Moroccans were a whole phase of college. They stayed around first semester. I remember I think Medi had seen snow before, but Q and Corona hadn't. And so it snowed in November, and they had like their first snow experience right in front of us while we were doing homework.
True. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. And I mean, definitely not a bad phase of college, though. I mean, I had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. Yeah, that was like right before the semester before COVID. So it
was.
Yeah, it was funny. That semester was fun. Yeah, it was fall 2019.
Yeah, you're right.
And then spring of 2020 was the next semester.
I don't associate with my freshman year being like having so much going on in it, but like to be honest, my freshman year probably had the most going on in it of any college year ever. So
lots of action.
Yeah, lots of stuff going down, and obviously I don't remember everything. So, but yeah, Moroccans were an interesting time. And I think so. Another story I have about the Moroccans is there were several times where this might have been after you and Corona broke up. When was that?
At the very end of the year.
Was that like right before Christmas break?
Yeah. It was either like close.
I thought it happened sooner.
It was around my birthday, so it was like mid-November.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I was like I thought it happened way sooner. Because I remember after that happened, when they were around, you weren't around.
Yeah.
And so there were a couple of times where like it was Kai, Q, me, Corona, and actually there was one time where Drew was like with us.
True.
And we were playing video games in the lounge. And I was just like, I remember like we were playing Stick Fight, and I was just like, I remember thinking like, where's he at? It's like I knew you guys had broken up at that point, but it was just like,
yeah,
it was odd for you not to be around and like.
I don't remember if that was the time that that other girl was around, or if that was before.
No, I think it was different. I think it was different weekends, because the weekend you're describing also, like, I wasn't around for some reason. I don't remember why, but I remember hearing about what happened and being fucking outraged. But anyway, I think this was a different weekend, and I just remember like thinking like, this is odd. Where's he at? And then another thing happened that I don't think I've ever told you.
Oh God!
But
live drama.
We'll do it for the content. We were playing Stick Fight, and Drew's to my left. I'm in the middle. Corona's on the right, and we're having a good time. Stick Fight's a really funny game.
Yes, very fun.
And I enjoy it. I could probably sit down and play it for quite a while. But anyway, we were sitting there playing the game. I think there were a couple people like in the room with us. Like maybe your suite mate might have been there or something. And they were like just sitting behind, like playing on computers or something. APA might have been in there as well. But Kai and Q were gone and you were gone. And I remember like playing Stick Fight, and then like it was in between rounds, and I keep noticing, I feel like she kept getting closer. And I was just like, this is interesting. I don't know if it's unintentional or what, but this is interesting. and I didn't move because my choice was
Drew.
let her get closer or me move closer to Drew. And me and Drew are some pretty sweaty guys, and Drew's a bigger guy, so I don't want to be like pressed up against his shoulder, you know. So it was like I was kind of like, okay, but it was a little awkward because definitely I did have a girlfriend at the time, but
Right.
the more awkward part was that I knew that had happened and this was going on, and I was like, interesting. How do I do this? But I never I never could prove that it was anything because it didn't seem, unless that it was just like very subtle. But the way that you and her were flirting was not subtle at all. So I didn't figure subtleness was her thing. But yeah, that happened, and then
That's funny.
now I'm thinking about it. After you guys broke it off, it really was just like you kind of just like broke away from the group for a little while. Because like there was several occasions where I was like out in the hallway hanging out with them, and you weren't there.
Yeah, because Kai was still dating Q, so like they were good friends. So I was just like, I'm gonna like back off just so that's not awkward.
Fair.
Like I broke up with her, right? So I was like, I'm not gonna like break up with her, and then be forcibly around her while they're together. So like I broke up, and I'm like, I'm gonna give it a week or two, and just kind of like let things simmer, and let Kai do his thing too, and not break up the friend group. Just kind of like back off for a bit and relax, and then
maybe I needed to back off for a little bit and relax, I guess. But you know, I just
no, you were good.
I'm a talker. I'm a socializer, and I think I don't know. Weird things were happening after that breakup, man. Weird things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is, I think, most of the Moroccan story. I mean, we even told kind of the end of the Moroccan era was coming back from Christmas break, finding out that Q and Kai broke up, and then seeing her at the frat house. That was the end.
That was the period.
Yeah, it was a very interesting time. I got a lot of exposure to things. I mean, I'm not very cultured. I guess I'm cultured. That's not the right word for it, but I'm not been anywhere else but here. So
yeah, we'll travel. We'll travel somewhere.
Yeah, but anyway, that's the Moroccan era. Hope you enjoyed the stories. If you want to see some more stories that you have input on, you know, send us an Instagram DM or vote on the poll. We'll be putting on polls on both Instagram and in the Spotify description. So be sure to make your vote for what we talk about next. If you want to see more segments like we did at the beginning of this episode where we did our top threes or do some more college advice, let us know that, and tune in every Wednesday. But with that being said, I think we're good to go.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.